Hello, everyone. Welcome to the FIT training. Today, we'll be going through 3 modules that will help you land a job, work a job, and lead a job. My name is Andrew, and I'm a ProStart alum from Newport Harbor High School in Orange County. The landed section will cover steps to look for and obtain a job in the industry. Your first step in the process should be asking yourself, what kind of company do I want to work for? You should think about what's important to you, how you'll be treated, what these companies offer, and the company's culture and values. So for me, I valued flexibility and having a work, life, and school balance. So when I was looking for a job, I looked for on-campus jobs that would honor working only a certain amount of hours a week and allowing me time to work through my schedule. Now that you've thought of what you're looking for, it's time to think about what your employer is looking for. You can ask yourself, what soft skills are my employers looking for? And this is something that if you don't know where to start looking for, you can look in the job description for certain keywords. Some examples of soft skills are communication skills, customer service, time management, and analytical thinking. Let's say you're applying for a front desk position. Some keywords that you could find in the job description are customer service or communication skills, and these are skills that you might want to have before applying for said position. When searching for a job, you can get a referral from a friend that works at a place that you're interested in working at. You can browse company websites, especially under their careers tabs. They typically have job listings there. And you can also look at job board websites such as LinkedIn and Indeed. Those will have a catalog of different positions that you can narrow down searches for. Before you can begin applying for a job, you should create or revise your resume. Some things that should be listed on your resume are contact information, keywords for resume scanners, education, experience, and activities and skills. If you find that you are lacking in experience, or let's say you've never had a job before, you can list certain things such as volunteer work. I know when I was first starting off, I didn't have much experience at all other than catering at local high school events. And I put that down and that helped me get my first job. Now here are some do's and don'ts for a resume. You want to keep your resume short and concise, so try to keep it to 1 page. Have your contact information be current. You don't want an employer to contact an old phone number because that could lose you an opportunity. And lastly, have someone proofread it, preferably an English teacher or a counselor, someone who can catch any mistakes that you may have missed. Some don'ts for resume is multiple fonts or using colored paper. That can make your resume look very scattered and messy. And a lot of the times, this is your first contact with your potential employer, so you want to make a great first impression. Now moving on to the application process. Your application may be online or on paper, depending on the place. They'll often ask for your resume, and they'll ask for information about your current and past employers, school, clubs, and activities, eligibility, essential functions, references, and your schedule availability. Now we're going to move on to references. References look great on an application, but you should consider who you are writing down. Make sure the person you write down as a reference is aware that you are using their information and that they have given consent. The last thing you want is for a reference to be called and they don't have any information about you and they have no idea that they were going to get the call. You want to make sure that your references can vouch for you and have had great experiences with you so that it can increase your chances of landing a job. It is also helpful if your reference is in the same field as the job you're applying for. So someone like your culinary high school teacher could be a great reference if you are going or applying for a job that's in the kitchen. Social media is something that should also be considered. Expect any online posts that you have posted to be read. If you don't want something to be seen, make sure it is removed from your social media. or that your social media is made private, because your employers will look at those things and you don't want to ruin your chances before you even get them. When looking for a job, it's also important to have good phone skills. Make sure you answer the phone professionally and make sure that your voicemail is also professional. You don't want to have an unprofessional voicemail in case you don't have the opportunity to pick up the call from a potential employer. It is also important to have good phone skills because at times your interviews can be held over the phone. So you need to maintain the same amount of professionalism on the phone as you would in person. If your application has been accepted, you will move forward to the interview process. You want to make sure you make a great first impression, so you should dress the part. Make sure you're dressed appropriately, and that can depend on the place that you are applying to. If it is a more relaxed environment, still maintain professionalism, but you can dress a little bit more relaxed. But let's say you're applying to a more formal place. In that case, you would want to dress a little bit more formal to fit the part. Your behaviors, you should make sure that you give a firm handshake when you greet and when you say goodbye to the interviewer. This will help also leave a good impression with them. If asked to introduce yourself, you can talk about your past education or experiences, skills useful in the hospitality industry, personal characteristics that make you a good employee, and why you're a good fit. What you don't want to include is personal information that is too personal, your relationship status, your religion, your astrological sign, etc. You want to keep it professional. Something you often hear in an interview is tell me about yourself. If prompted with the question, you should be prepared with an answer. The best way to prepare yourself is to create an elevator pitch. Essentially, you create a quick summary about yourself that can include your experiences, accomplishments, skills, etc. When you present your elevator pitch, you want to be energetic and upbeat. Here's a sample introduction. As a junior at ABC High School, I'm taking AP classes in math. I'm part of ProStart, a high school culinary arts program, and lead catering events for our class. At my previous job, I was always on time for my 6 a.m. shift. I enjoy working with people and believe this is the perfect environment for me to showcase my skills. Some important documents that you could bring with you to an interview are your resume, a notepad, and any related certifications such as your CRA Workforce Ready certificate, your SurfSafe certification, or your Fit Day training certification. Other questions that you could be asked during an interview are, why are you looking for a job? What interests you about this job? What do you know about the company? And what inspires or motivates you? A final question an employer may ask you is, why should we hire you? This may be the last question and your last chance to impress the interviewer. Stay away from answers that show your lack of experience and weave in examples of how you align with their missions and their values. Pull from life experiences to prove you're responsible and professional. Some examples could be your volunteer work, school activities like ProStart, sports, or odd jobs. Here's an example of how you could answer that question. I'm a very motivated worker and fast learner. During my time volunteering for catering events at my high school's culinary arts program, I learned how much I enjoy preparing food and interacting with guests. From what you described, I think this position would be a great fit, and I'm excited for the opportunity. Some questions you can ask to impress the interviewer could be, how would you describe a typical week in this position? What qualities would you like to see in a person in this position? And what do you like about working at your company? Asking questions like this can help show that you are prepared for the interview and that you're more interested in the position. This is typically information that you get once you have completed the interview. The interviewer will typically tell you that they'll contact you within the week or within the next couple of days. And that is on you to keep track and follow up once that window of time is over. Make sure your email address is professional, Send a thank you email the next day after your interview. Make sure you add something into the subject line. Now, to recap key points for landing a job, here are some things you can prepare beforehand. You can look up the kind of company that you want to work for and apply via websites. You should have your resume and your applications filled with up-to-date information. And during your interview, you want to make sure that you nail your introduction and that you're thinking of potential answers to questions that may come up and that you have your documents ready. In terms of professionalism, your social media profiles shouldn't have anything that could go against you. Make sure that your voicemail greeting in your phone is appropriate in case they do call you. Make sure that you know how to answer the phone and how to leave a message. And just make a great first impression on your employers. Special thanks to DiscoverLink for curating the FIT training and the FIT certificate. Thank you to our sponsors for making FIT Day possible.